Hey, what's up, y'all? Dr. Freeborn Mondello here, owner of Run Free Physical Therapy and Human Performance. Today, I want to bring you a video introducing telehealth for PT, explaining some of the most commonly answered questions I get related to this topic. If you don't know, I've run a brick and mortar, so a traditional in building, see you in person physical therapy practice for many years. And after doing that, I finally decided to transition out and to transition to this digital telehealth PT practice model. I believe that I can deliver better care and provide better service to you, the clients, by doing this. And many people have questions about this. And so I get many of the same questions every single day. And there's many telehealth providers popping up now every single day. And really, what I want to share in this video is answer the three most common questions. Number one being telehealth for PT. Is that really a thing? Is that really valued? Don't I need to go in person and see my PT? How does it work? Well, that question one leads to question two. How does it work? Does it really work to get on a phone call or to subscribe to somebody's digital telehealth program, do video calls? Can I really get the care I need that way? And why should I choose telehealth over traditional physical therapy in the clinic? So I want to answer those three questions for you. I hope you'll join me on this journey of describing those things. So, number one, is telehealth for PT really a real thing that is happening and that I can engage in? Will it work for me? And so that's question one up here. And the first answer is yes. I'm one of many doing it. There's huge companies like Sword Health and Hinge Health. Those companies are publicly traded or becoming publicly traded. They're worth billions of dollars. They've got thousands and thousands of clients. There's smaller folks like myself giving more of that concierge service where I'm still seeing most of the patients. I'm still working with most of my patients at this stage of the game. And that's wonderful. So telehealth for PT is a real thing. And what we've got now is we've got studies showing that telehealth actually delivers the same results as in-person PT. So that's really clear. There's no questions there. The more we research it, the more we study it, the more we see that physical therapy can be delivered via a video like this, via live video calls, many different ways of doing it. We'll describe some of those in our upcoming videos. But what we know for certain is that telehealth for physical therapy is delivering equal results, equal outcomes. What does that mean? That means if your knee hurts and you work with a provider like myself or one of the many others who provide virtual physical therapy, you're just as likely to achieve your dream outcome, to be back running that race or playing with your grandkids or whatever your goal is. You're just as likely to be doing that if you engaged a telehealth physical therapy service as you would be if you went into your typical brick and mortar service. So that's question number one. Is telehealth for physical therapy a real thing? And should it be a real thing, I guess, is the bigger question, because we know you can just stick it in Google or Chat GPT and you'll find out really quickly, yes, it's a real thing. Yes, we are actively producing many telehealth companies. But the question is, should it be? Don't I need to go in and see my physical therapist? The answer is a resounding no. You'll get the same results for many conditions. And you can start with a telehealth visit. And if we find, for instance, if you call me for an evaluation and we go through that process and we find, you know what, this is something you should be seen in person for, maybe there's a little more complexity than we want to handle virtually, we can always refer you down the next step. I can always refer you to a local provider in your area, but why not start here? And that brings us to the next question. How does it work? What does telehealth for physical therapy look like? Because if you've ever been to physical therapy before, you go into a clinic, you sit there in the office, you fill out a bunch of paperwork, you get checked in, you go in the back into a treatment room, probably, this is the most typical scenario. You meet your physical therapist. Hi, I'm Dr. Mondello. How are you doing? Let's get started. They take you through an evaluation. They get you started. They write a program, and then you make a plan. They're going to see you 3 times a week for the next 3 weeks, 2 times a week for the next 3 months. You're going to run out of visits. It's this whole process. And it oftentimes it works if you've got a great physical therapist and you've got a good model, and good on you. So that's your traditional model. But how does telehealth physical therapy work? Because it seems like when I need help, when my knee hurts, I need to go in and see my physical therapist, and they need to touch my knee, and they need to bend it and twist it, and they need to tell me what's wrong with it. So that makes sense. But I will link a video on what an initial assessment or evaluation should look like. And the interesting thing that we'll see in that video is the most important part of a physical therapy evaluation is this conversation, is the history, is the understanding of who you are, how your body moves, and what's good and what's not good. So all that to say, I can do that on a virtual call just as well as I can do that sitting across from you. I can watch you move on a video, or we can get answers to how you're moving. And the reality of physical therapy is then we start to try things. We prescribe a program we think will work. This program works for the most people most of the time. And we get started, and you reconnect in a couple days, and you say, it's getting worse. That didn't work. Okay, let's twist, let's adjust a little bit. Let's try this. And now a week later, say it's improving, it's slow, but I'm feeling better. There's a little less knee pain. I was able to walk 7 minutes instead of 2 minutes today. Well, success. Now let's keep building on that. Let's keep progressing that. You hear that process taking place. That's what physical therapy looks like. Evaluate the problem, label the problem. You've got a torn meniscus, come up with a solution. We're going to give you this programming, this movement program, this healthy lifestyle advice, whether it's nutrition or diet or sleep or getting off the couch or more rest. Maybe you're training for an Ironman and you need a back off or a CrossFit competition. Physical therapy is about examining the whole picture, examining your whole lifestyle, taking all that information and then making a plan, like what caused this? Were you in an acute injury? Did you get hit by a bike? Did you get run over on the soccer pitch? Is that what caused the injury? Okay, that's a different picture than I'm putting in 80 miles a week and my knees started to hurt. Well, how did we get to 80 miles a week? Are your shoes worn out? Are you strong enough? Do your hips move? Is your core engaged and strong? All of those things, as you hear that, can be answered with a conversation and through telehealth physical therapy. So my point being, how does it work? It works exactly the same way in-person physical therapy works. The only resounding difference is now you can sit at home, sit at your desk, sit on your couch, and have this conversation. You don't have to spend the time commuting. You don't have to spend the time sitting in a waiting room. You don't have to fill out paperwork when you get to the office. All of that can be done online on your schedule. You set up this call. The call is really directed towards you. It's all about you. It's efficient. And we can get to the root of the problem. We can understand the problem. And then we can make a plan from there. None of that's different than an in-person session. Where does it become different? Well, I certainly can't put my hands on you and physically move you or manipulate joints or do any of that on a virtual visit. But what we know, and what's the most important thing to understand, is that the number one solution that physical therapy brings is a movement program. Let's design a proper movement program that gets you out of pain and back to living the life you love. That's what your physical therapist should be obsessed with, whether it's a telehealth physical therapist like myself or you're in an office. If you are seeing a PT who's not obsessed with a proper movement and training program to get you empowered and free from pain and up to the next level, then you're seeing the wrong physical therapist. If they're just giving you hands-on work and saying, well, the most important thing is keep seeing me, we'll manipulate you, you feel better for a couple days, or we'll dry needle you. Hey, I dry needle. I know it works. I know it can get you over the hump. But what we always need to know is those things are not the solution. They're additions. They're helpful little aids. They're almost like the bottle of Aleve, maybe a little bit better. I'd rather you get dry needling than take the whole bottle of Aleve. But the point being, the actual solution is one and chief and primarily always is the proper movement program and progressions. So that's how physical therapy works. Part two of what's most important in the physical therapy program is education. You need to understand what got you here. Why are you in pain? Why are you broken? Why are you unable to achieve your goals and live the life you want? Why are you not free and unbreakable? And how do I avoid getting back to this place? And how do I get out of this place? So part of it is doing the work, just proceeding with the program as prescribed. But part of it is understanding, because we need to know what decisions to make. We need to better understand how to live healthy and active lifestyles. And if you don't know that, if you don't know how your nervous system works, if you don't understand how to retrain the nervous system and then build up strength, and you don't know if your bad knees, as the doctor described them, can tolerate squatting or running, then you need some expert in the field to actually educate you. And so you can watch my other videos. I'm trying to create free education around a lot of these topics. But also, if you work with an expert physical therapist, it will be the education that's very specific and targeted to you so that you can learn what comes next and how to progress. And the third question I want to answer today is just the why. Why should I choose telehealth physical therapy over my PT down the road? I've heard PT works. My friends got it. It was fine. And the answer is somewhat simple. I mean, one, you've got to make the choice on what you value. So let me give you some of the values. We already talked about some of the values that make telehealth better than brick and mortar in my mind. And one of them is just convenience. I mean, we're all too busy. I know I'm too busy. The last thing I want to do is drive 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour in traffic down the road, sit in a waiting room, wait my turn. Physical therapist is a little behind, so now we're waiting even longer. We had to fill out the paperwork to go in and get rushed through a session and then sent back out the door to work with the kid who's the assistant, who's well intentioned, but the physical therapist has to move on to their next patient because they only have 15 or 20 minutes, and then it's the next, and it's this PT mill, as we call it in the profession. That's not something I want to participate in my healthcare journey. And if you want to avoid that, one of the best ways to do that is to engage a virtual telehealth physical therapist. We will schedule a time with you at your convenience. You pick the time that fits, and then you get on the call and we talk through it. And then you get the programming, you get the education. Many practices, like mine included, we have an app, so you'll be prescribed your program as well as educational videos in the app. Then we can meet as desired on weekly or monthly calls, whatever we agree to as the best solution for your problem, your particular problem. We can decide that, and then we can proceed on that schedule. We can easily cancel and reschedule visits. None of that is as inconvenient as getting in the car and driving down and being locked into this PT mill and having to deal with the convenience factor. So to me, the number one reason why you should choose virtual physical therapy is simply convenience. Number two is I believe that you will receive better programming, guidance, and accountability with someone who set up a telehealth practice. If you work with Run Free, we will put you in our app with your personalized program. You will have accountability working with myself or one of our PTs. You will get on scheduled calls and you'll be followed up with, and we can adjust on the fly. You'll have texting and email access. All of these things theoretically are possible in your typical brick and mortar practice, but we know they don't happen, and they don't happen because there's not enough time or energy or staff to perform them in a traditional setting. But when we transition out of that setting into this virtual setting, and we operate in this digital world that we're living in anyhow, then we can give you better accountability, better programming, better education, constant feedback, and put it all right in your hand. And it's so much more convenient. So those are some of the top reasons. We can also talk about the financial stresses. I believe telehealth physical therapy is a better value because you pay for a better package than you do when you show up and run out of sessions and use your traditional brick and mortar insurance or cash pay practice. So we'll make another video about that. But to summarize, telehealth for PT is a real thing. The outcomes are real. It works just as well, and I would even venture maybe better than traditional physical therapy in a building. How does it work? Well, we schedule a video call, we assess just like we would. I will link what an assessment should look like and sound like so you can evaluate your own PT and your own healthcare experiences. And then we give you the education and the programming and the support you need to achieve your goals. And why should you pick it? More convenience. I believe long term you'll have better outcomes, you'll have more empowerment. And also, many practitioners, many telehealth physical therapy practices will offer you the opportunity to get on a call, have a conversation with the PT, and find out, is this the right fit for me? Is Dr. Mondello at Run Free PT going to understand my problems? Does he know what it's like to be at hour 10 of an Ironman? Or has he worked with a patient who's 70 years old and has chronic low back pain and just wants to play with their grandkids? The answer to those in my case is yes, but we can get on and I can answer those questions. And if you're interested in that, I'll put a link below in the comments. You can schedule a call and we can chat through it. You can find out if I'm the right fit for you. And if I'm not, you can move on to the next choice without any pressure, without having wasted half of your day going and sitting through a session and going to the PT and getting billed and all the rest, and then finding out that's just not going to work for me. They don't understand who I am. They don't understand my goals. They don't understand where I want to get to and how I want to get there. I don't have time to go down there 3 days a week. I still have a job, or I live an hour away, or the traffic was too much. We can solve all of that through virtual physical therapy. So I believe you should at least give virtual physical therapy a try. I believe it is the future. That's why I transitioned. Firstly, because I think PT is all going that way and should go that way, and it delivers a better value and service to you, the client. But also, as I've transitioned into it, I found those things to be true. I really can deliver a better service. I really can deliver a better value. My clients are happier. They're getting better outcomes. And the biggest difference I'm seeing, because I did it the other way and now I'm doing it this way, is my patients are graduating my programs more empowered than ever before. It was always a goal for me to give you the tools to live an active, healthy, free life long term. That sometimes happened in in-person sessions, but often there was an over-reliance on that next office visit. And I'm finding we are now able to eliminate that. So if you feel like, hey, I just don't know what to do, I'm in pain, I'm not achieving my goals, whether it's performance or rehab, and I need help, but I don't want to just be treated. I actually want to grow and become someone who can take care of myself. I want a long-term success. I want an outcome that lasts for 10 and 20 and 30 years. And I want to run a marathon at 80 or do a CrossFit competition or whatever the case may be, play with my grandkids until the day I die. Then check us out or check out another virtual PT clinic. But I believe this will be the best solution for you. Hope that's helpful. Check back in to check out my other videos. I'm going to keep creating these. I hope you learn. Please comment, ask questions. I'd love to get some engagement going, and also subscribe to my channel so we can grow this and we can spread truth and freedom about physical therapy and health and wellness. Thank you. Be strong.